Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. We are live. It is the 15th of March. It is just about 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I am so happy to be here. I hope you guys are having a good start to your week. Or if you're not, I'm glad you're here. So maybe we can perk things up just a little bit. I want to let you know we're over in the chat room. You can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number one, number two, radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. I am also live streaming this event. You can find that by heading over to Facebook or YouTube. Look for Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic. Easy enough. That's where to find me. So, I missed last week, as you know, which is very rare for me, as you also know. I was in Tucson with our daughter, her first big like college spring break trip softball event. It was 4 straight days of softball, 2 games a day, and you can see it all over my face. You know, I did wear sunblock every day until the last day. And on the last day, I lost my sunblock, didn't wear it, absolutely fried my face. As you can see, I have really good raccoon eyes going on from my sunglasses. And you can't totally tell, but my poor little nose is really peeling. Anyway, so just one day of that Tucson sun was all my face could handle. Uh, but it's whatever. And don't worry, I found my sunblock, you know, after the fact. But we had a great trip. Tucson was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. The girls played really well. They did a good job in their tournament. I have no complaints. It was awesome. Believe it or not, however, we did the drive there and the drive home in a singular day, a 16-hour drive all at once. I can't even believe. The crazier part is it really wasn't that bad. It was pretty easy. It was long and a long time in the car, of course, but we didn't hate it. We went different ways there and different ways back. On our way back, we went through Navajo Nation and around the Grand Canyon. It was awesome. Our way there, we went through Vegas. We didn't get out in Vegas because of Vegas, but also this was a breakneck drive. When you have 16 hours to go, you don't stop. You barely stop to pee. That's it. But we stayed in the cutest Airbnb. I love Airbnbs, and I honestly, they're underutilized by us. Hopefully, we'll rectify that in the future because it was such a nice. It was this cute little bungalow near the host's house. They had like three little houses, little house things, cottages. Let's call them that. Right near their house. It was kind of off the beaten path, which was nice because I'm always worried a little bit about crime and my car getting broken into and things. But we felt totally safe out in there, and it was perfect. A little tiny kitchen. We didn't cook, but it was nice to have. A little dining room, living room area, and a bedroom and a bathroom. That's really all you need. But to not have to live with hotel life, ooh, priceless. So, anyway, what can I say? It was really, really cool. Our last morning there, we went and found an artisan market in their old town area. There's an old mission in Tucson that is kind of the original Tucson, and that's an area that's really artsy. And there was a whole artisans market that we went and wandered through, and wow, the talent, the art, the pottery, the metalworking. I bought this cute little dreamcatcher necklace from this absolutely darling, sweet little Navajo lady that was metal crafting. She had or silversmithing. We bought some earrings from her from ours too that were so pretty, little turquoise flowers for her to have as a memento from her trip. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was great. We had a lot of fun. Good to be home too. Very weird to just step away from life for a week. I haven't done that in a really long time. And so just getting back into the swing of things, catching up, the mundane. the laundry, giving the pigs enough treats that they don't hate us. Our dogs went to Boise with my older kids. The pigs had a piggy sitter that came every day or twice a day and took care of them. And they're still pretty disgruntled about it, pardon the pun. But life goes on, right? Anyway, I have news. I have such exciting news. I think I kind of alluded to this news last time we talked, but I have a much better picture for you now. So, on the 2nd of March, my new little baby was born. Oh, it's pixelated. Maybe I can show you a better one. He's a deer chihuahua. Oh, that's better. Yep, he's a deer chihuahua baby. Mom and dad are both around 7 pounds, so it's maybe a pound or so bigger than the boys that I have had in the past. Baby boy. We're going to name him Bruno, because we don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. Have you guys been watching Encanto? If you haven't, you don't know what I'm thinking about. But if you haven't, Encanto, the new Disney movie, guys, you gotta watch it. It is so sweet. Anyway, so that's Bruno. So he was born on March 2nd. He's not going to come home until probably the second week in May, depending on how Mars's softball team does, how deep into the playoffs they make it. Because I had told the breeder I don't want to bring him home until we're done traveling. And she was like, I'll keep him as long as I need to. It's no big deal. So that's the plan. So that's my new little guy. I'm really excited. And the breeder is adorable. She has been sending me over all of these. She sends me over pictures like every few days. It's really sweet. And she also sent me a pregnancy photo shoot of mom. It was so funny, so cute. Anyway, mom's a black and tan, and dad he's tan like our little guy is. So anyway, I'm so excited and can't wait to get him home. So that's my big news. Yeah. Yes. Oh, Red Panda. I have not seen Red Panda. I need to see Red Panda. It looks adorable. But yes, Encanto, precious. So cute. I even made Scott watch it on our way home. you know, being trapped with me in a car for 16 hours, you can imagine. Just kidding. Scott got blessed with my sparkling personality for all that time. I mean, come on, man. Actually, I think it says a lot that we came home still liking each other, It worked. It worked out. Thanks, guys. I think he's pretty cute too. I cannot wait to see pictures of him with his eyes open. Oh, another week or so probably on that, but oh my lord. That's going to be so great. Okay. Well, I found an article I thought was super interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. And by the way, the full moon is on Friday, so we are going to do full moon fairy tale tarot today. 'Tis the season, right? So it's also St. Patrick's Day this week. Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on. Okay, I'm putting a link in both chat rooms here for you guys. But this is an article about a near-death experience, a study. It was kind of an accidental study, but in 2016, this guy in Canada had a fall and had a brain bleed. And he'd been under medical care for days, and he started having seizures, and they ended up doing a scan of his brain at the same time he ended up having a cardiac event and he died. And since they were undergoing a brain scan, they have this interesting data about what happened. So I thought this was really interesting to share. So, for a long time, we've debated about what happens. Science has debated a lot about what happens at the point of death in the brain. We have debated a lot about what you see and do and experience at the time of your death. And as a medium, I've, heard and seen lots of things over the years. from people who, have been through that. Also, as a past life regressionist, because in past life regression, sometimes people go through a death. And that's been really, really educational for me and interesting to see what they experience and how. But at any rate, here's what happened. This is kind of looking at that theory that when people die, they have the phenomena of their life flashing before their eyes. And a lot of people with NDEs say that they have kind of a life review of sorts, or all their memories kind of flash through their memories, their, that made no sense. Their memories kind of flash through their mind, right? So in this dying man's brain activity, what the brain signals recorded just before and just after his heart stopped are similar to those that people experience when recalling memories. And these are similar to the same kind of brain patterns that they recorded at the point of death in rats. Ick. Yeah, not ick on rats, just but anyway, so yeah, so they felt like that was really interesting and kind of significant to have that look at what the brain was actually doing at the time of death. So Dr. Jessica Andrews Hanna is a assistant professor of cognition and neural systems at the University of Arizona. So from this study, she said, it's striking that the brainwave patterns leading up to this man's death were similar to those associated with memory, dreaming, and other thought processes involving crosstalk between many brain regions. Together, these findings offer a rare yet tentative glimpse into the mind in its final moments. Pretty interesting, huh? I thought it was. So, obviously, interesting with this guy that right before his brain stopped, his brain started that process. Right before his heart stopped, sorry, his brain started that process. Like there was cognition there that he was in the process of dying. Anyway, I found that to be fascinating. I was also reading about that theory that the soul has weight. There's a guy who did a study weighing the human body as someone passed away, or died. And he says that there is a 21 ounce or 21 gram difference. So he hypothesized that souls have a physical weight because in measuring the mass of a human when they're sold apart of their body, he was averaging 21 grams. And I think that's really, really interesting. I will also say that that's been rebutted many times by others, but I don't know. I'm not here to say that that is or is not necessarily correct. Other scientists had weighed in on the fact that because your body stops functioning, that could possibly cause that 21 gram difference. But then again, you know, it's a pretty interesting theory that perhaps the soul actually has weight. I don't know that it wouldn't. I don't know. Would a soul have mass at all or not? What do you guys think? I think all of these noetic style scientific studies and breakthroughs and things are really, really fascinating. So I posted an article from Discover Magazine about the guy who supposedly weighed the soul. But and again, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not people think this is actually true. He actually did this in 2000, or sorry, in 1907 is when the first experiment was recorded. So pretty interesting. Now, to put that into perspective, 21 grams is 3/4 of an ounce. I mean, that's minuscule, of course. And maybe with much more sensitive measuring tools now, we could measure that down to something a little bit more accurate, but I don't think anyone's doing that. But anyway, I just think it's pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. So there you go. You didn't know you were going to show up here today for a oratory on death, did you? You probably did if you're coming to my show, but it's what we do. Okay. I'm a bit of an expert. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's unfortunately, but you guys know I study death a lot. I talk about death a lot. It's what it is. But let's move on and talk about Luminous Magazine. You should have already received it. If you subscribe, you should have received it about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. I'm going to put a link in the chat rooms. Luminous, of course, is the magazine that I publish every week with my help from some of my colleagues that want to listen and friends. And oh, that's interesting, Sid. She said there's a movie back in the early 2000s about the soul weight. She said she thinks it was called 21 grams. Oh, interesting. Would be worth checking out on the next long car ride. Oh, Scott. Actually, Red Panda. That's what's next. That's coming right up. Quelly. I love it. Okay. All right. Well, let's take a look at Luminous. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Alrighty. I chose a cover this week that's a little bit greener and springier, I hoped, with all of those or daisies. I think those are daisies. I was going to call them daffodils. I don't know what I'm doing. And that cute little bridge. I just loved this image. Alrighty. So I called the magazine this week the Magic All Around Us edition. It's a magical week. There's a really magical vibe in the air. You may be feeling it, you may not yet. A lot of my empaths are still feeling very, very weighed down by, the weight of the world and the way things are going currently. So if you are feeling that way, no judgment here. But hopefully you can get above it, around it, beyond it for a minute to experience some of the magic going on in the world right now. Not in the world, in the stratosphere, in you, in your life. This is one of those times where I think employing all of your tools is really smart. So, pulling a few cards, meditating. Hey, Belle, doing the things that you need to do to feel better when you need it. Light a candle, cast a spell, whatever it is you do, do those things to help heal the world, to help heal yourself, to help work on yourself. It's the way to go. All right. Okay, so here's my magic, you guys. My crows are back. So last week, well, before we left for Tucson, I Scott was like, "Do you hear your crows out there yelling at you?" And I went, because I can't hear shit, and Scott has much better ears than me, so he heard them first. But I went out, and there she was. That's I'm going to say same girl, and I don't mean to sound, judgmental here. That perhaps they all look the same, but no, they freaking don't. This is my girl sitting in the same tree she always sits in, hollering at me. So I took out food. You guys, I finally got them. I was told last year I never could find them unsalted in the shell peanuts. And like I could have found them if I looked harder, but I didn't. And anyway, whatever. But I found them this spring. So unsalted in the shell peanuts, my God, they go bonkers for them. They sit out in the feeder and crack them and eat the nuts all afternoon and scream and yell, or they take off with them. I've seen quite a bit of that too. But every day they end up leaving a pretty good mess for me, which is fine. But anyway, so they were back last week. So before we left, I really loaded up their feeder, knowing we'd be gone. But now I'm back to just daily feedings like I did last year. So I have a crow call that I got for my birthday last year from one of my daughters, because they know I'm insane. And we, I've been going out there, yeah, and feeding them and calling for them, and they come in and they eat. Well, this morning I went out there to feed them and they brought me a present. So that's one thing that people who, develop a long-term relationship with crows will tell you is that they, over time, they start to, they'll bring gifts in exchange for their food as a thank you, apparently. And I think that's true. And anyway, they brought me a screw. So I hope that wasn't to screw you, but this is what they brought. Scott recognized it. They stole it from him. So they didn't go too far. But that green paint on it, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's mine. I know exactly where that came from." So they stole it from Scott, but that's cool. That's fine. You can steal from Scott and give to me. It's whatever. But they did it. So how fun is that? There it is in the feeder. So I'm kind of over the moon about it because you know how much I love these crows and the idea of having my own little murder of crows around here. I'm just that kind of weirdo. And they brought me a present and I just couldn't be more flattered. Yeah. All right. Planet meditation. We actually have 2 new meditations up over there. We've been big slackers lately. I'm trying to do better. You guys know I've just had a lot going on, but I put up 2 new meditations. What a Wonderful World, which is music for relaxation and joy, and I really love it. The graphics are awesome. So anyway, I hope it's something that you guys can benefit from. It's 26, I think it's 26 minutes long. So it's a longer one that you could turn on when you're just relaxing or even when you're making dinner or doing something like that and you need some music to just help ground you back into your body and to feel good. And then I put up a binaural beats for concentration and focus. If you are feeling like you can't concentrate and focus right now, first of all, you are not alone. That's kind of how a lot of people are feeling. We are a little scattered and a little bit ungrounded right now. So I felt like that binaural beats might help you a lot. Now remember that when you're listening to binaural beats or solfeggio tones, you really need to have your headphones on because the magic of binaural beats happens in both ears at there's different things happening in both sides. So you really need to have your headphones on so that you can get the full effect or your earbuds or I say headphones because I'm an old lady, but apparently now the kids call them AirPods. Whatever. Anyway, so hopefully that'll help you guys. You benefit from those. Uh, the bitch is on break. She'll be back next week, but she took a little break this week. So no bitch scopes, but have a good break. Bitch of Ceremonies, Kelly McLean. We appreciate everything you do. All right. My tip this week are 5 ways to improve your day now. These are some good ones, I think, if you're just feeling like you need some ways to improve your day. Sometimes you just have those mornings where you wake up and everything feels like shit. Or, you have some calamities when you first get out of bed and you have a hard time getting back to yourself. This seems to be more my issue. If the pigs and I have a rough go in the morning, because, the second I turn over in bed for the first time and they hear me, they come barreling out of bed, run in my bedroom, partying, honking, oinking, squeaking, squealing, because it's breakfast time and that's the most exciting thing in their lives. And, which is fine typically. But if for some reason we have a rough start, I really have to find a way to reset, or I might just march around being a little bit grouchy all day. And I don't like feeling like that. And ain't nobody likes me like that, I promise. So here's 5 ways to improve your day. Service. Service releases happy hormones in your brain. Buy a stranger coffee, bake cookies for your neighbor, walk shelter dogs, or anything else you can do. Clean up garbage. Sometimes you don't want to have to interface with other people, but you do want to do some service, right? Sometimes when you are really over everyone and everything, the last thing you really want to do is deal with, the humans. And so if you're feeling that way, consider something else. I love the idea of being in service to your community or to Mother Earth by cleaning up trash because there's trash everywhere. Move yourself. Walk around the block, throw a dance party in the living room. Movement makes your brain happy. So sometimes what you need to do is just move. I have this really cool tool called a vibration plate machine. I use it daily because of a disease that I have, but so you don't have to be diseased for this, but a vibration plate is this plate that it's this big thing that you stand on or sit in a chair and put your feet on that literally shakes you. Don't do it if you've had a joint replaced. Otherwise, you're good. But it helps to stimulate your blood flow. And to me, I have been amazed at how much vibration plate therapy like wakes up my brain a lot. Honestly, if there's something I need to focus on, learn, do, if I'm going to like file the taxes or, file for the FAFSA, I better take a spin on the vibration plate first because it really wakes up your circulation and gets some brain flow going or blood flow going to your brain. Anyway, I love the vibration plate. Now this is something that was popular like clear back in the 60s that women would go to salons and stand on with a belt around their waist to try and jiggle off the fat. That's the thing, kind of. Anyway, so if you need something to really get you going and help boost up your happy hormones in your brain and you want to invest in yourself, buy a vibration plate. You can buy them on Amazon for 50, 60, maybe not that cheap, around $100. So totally worth it. Okay, turn the radio up. Music is an amazing way to boost your mood. We know this, right? Pick music that inspires you, sparks feelings of joy. If I need to feel inspired, it's almost always going to be Dances with Wolves. The Dances with Wolves soundtrack or the Last of the Mohicans soundtrack both do it for me. Now, there's lots of other music that I love, but those are old standbys for me if I just really need to get inspired, get in the right state of mind, get going. Yep. Yeah, yes, Lillian said my mother used to have the vibration belt machine. I used to stand on it and talk like Elmer Fudd. Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. Take a coffee break. Drinking something warm and comforting gives you a chance to slow down and relax for a few minutes. And that depends on what's warm and comforting for you. If it's not coffee, maybe it's tea. Maybe it's a London fog. Maybe it's a trip to Dutch or Starbucks. Maybe it's just making something in your own kitchen and just taking a few minutes to just slow down and ground yourself. But there's something about a warm drink that is grounding and centering and comforting. Read an uplifting article. There's more good in the world than bad. You just have to look for it. I will always stand by that. And by the way, Scott and I have a brand new show. I think we're going to start on Monday. Now, I will publish a postcard so that you guys know for sure. But I believe our show is going to be at 10 a.m. on Mondays, I think. And it is called Good News Only with Scott and Katie. And this will be a show kind of like 1 2 News, only more news and less 1 2. But we're going to be sharing all kinds of good news stories and happy moments and things to just give you some inspiration and a boost. And I'm way excited for it. We'll have fun. So there you go. Those are a few tips to improve your day. It's all a head game. It's all number one, right? It's on you. Nobody else is going to go out of their way to make your day better. Maybe they will. I don't want to say never, but mostly it's on you. If you are down in the dumps and you want to feel better, there's some thoughts for you. I'd be interested to know what you guys do too. If you're just having one of those days where everything just seems to everything you touch goes to shit. What do you do? What's your plan? Do you have one? This my kids hate it, because they'll call me and be like, Well, first I overslept and then I burned my tongue on my coffee and then and they'll start listing out like all of the things. And then, of course, they've got this Pollyanna mom over here that's like, but aren't you grateful? I mean, it's so great that you have a car to drive. And isn't it wonderful that the sun was shining today? And isn't it great that, and they go, you don't ever just let me be in a bad mood. Well, I don't want to not let you be in a bad mood. I think we're all entitled to our feelings. I don't want to not let people have their feelings. But the truth to me is that if on my hand, that if I keep playing Ain't It Awful, if I keep going to that place, this is what Caroline Mace said. She said, when you start playing the Ain't It Awful game, nobody wins. You just start getting lower and lower and lower. And for hers, it was swapping like Ain't It Awfuls with somebody else. Maybe somebody says, oh, I had a terrible childhood. My dad was never around. And somebody else goes, oh, you think you had a terrible childhood? Well, these are the things that happened to me. And somebody else goes, oh, yeah, well, I grew up during the Depression. I had a terrible childhood. And you start like compounding your bad stories with someone else's, or somebody goes, yeah, I was sick. And you're like, oh, you think you were sick? Let me tell you what happened to me. When you start swapping your negative stories, you just keep weighing each other down. And so one of Caroline Mace's, tenets of advice is to not refuse to play the Ain't It Awful game. But I think we have to really be careful we're not doing that with ourselves, and keeping score of all the bad things and all of the frustrating things and all the things we're mad about, but also find a way to put some good focus on the things that we do care about, you know, and that do bring us joy. So, those are also my challenges for you. Okay. Christy's energy spirits or kindred spirits energy oracle reading today is the Seek card. I'll let you watch that little video at your leisure. Do you guys have leisure? We always use this phrase at your leisure, like there is such a thing. Melissa brings us the Magic Monday message, just be you. Yeah, I love that. Just be you. You are truly enough. All right, Ginger's article this week, allowing ourselves to be replanted. And by the way, Ginger has a brand new show starting on 1-2 Radio. She is going to be on Wednesday afternoons, I think right after Mo. I think. Hopefully Scott will advise. I believe she's going to be right after Mo on Wednesdays. So not this Wednesday, not at 5 Pacific. Thanks. That scared me half to death. There's nothing like having a voice show up in your ear. Anyway, thank you. So 5 Pacific on Wednesdays, not this week, but next week is when her show is going to start. So I will definitely remind you guys, and let's all show up and support her in the chat and really support her efforts to come on board at 1-2 Radio. It's going to be great. If you guys don't already know this, I adore Ginger. I've known her for years and years, and we've been friends for a long time, and I'm so excited for her to be coming on to 1-2 Radio. So all righty, over at True Crime Paranormal, you know what's going on. Crime. There's just plenty of it. We have these new segments this year that we're doing. Like, we do our main case, but we also have 2 segments in every show that are smaller, little sound bites. And one of our segments is Florida Man. And I don't want to offend any of my Florida friends, but most of my Florida friends will agree there is definitely a type. They're not even always from Florida, but Florida Man strikes again. So yesterday, actually, our case our episode that broke today, I had a Florida Man case that I can't even with. This guy went to the bar and he bought meth. And he got home and he decided that it maybe wasn't meth. Maybe it was actually bath salts. And here's the thing, guys, bath salts are unsafe. And he didn't want to take this meth if it was bath salts, because bath salts will make you freak out and gobble down somebody's face or something. And so he called the police. He called 911, said that he thinks he maybe got some bad drugs. He hadn't taken them. Don't worry. Safety first. He wanted them to send out a deputy to verify for him that this was actually meth. So a deputy came out, and basically his objectives were A, I want to make sure these drugs are safe before I use them. And B, if this is actually bath salts, I want you guys to go down to the bar and arrest that guy for selling me the wrong thing. this was this is what his drug-addled brain was doing. Anyway, bad news for him. It really was meth, and he went to jail. So, so yeah, in his head, the meth was safe. Yeah. So anyway, he did get arrested. Unfortunately, he didn't have a whole lot of information about the guy who sold him the meth, except for what bar he was at, and so they weren't able to arrest the dealer. But they did go ahead and get this guy. Only in Florida. Huh, Quelly? What the hell? Anyway, oh my gosh, I have laughed so hard about it. But yeah. So there was that. But also, have you guys heard about what happened in Denver? This has been more than a week ago now, but it's still an unsolved crime. I would have told you about this last week, but I wasn't here. So this guy was driving a medical delivery truck, and he stopped to do something. Somebody broke into his truck. This is a medical supply truck. Someone stole from his truck a dolly with a box that was strapped to the dolly. The box was marked science tech and also human specimens. You guys, somebody stole a box full of heads. No shit. And they are still missing in Denver. So if you live in Denver and you see something that seems wrong, yeah. Now they haven't specified how many heads are in the box, but the measurements of the box would make me think there couldn't be more than 2, maybe 4 heads in there. But yeah, human heads are missing. Yeah. So that's not good. Anyway, the police have said it's a real head scratcher. They've put their heads together on this one, and they still can't come out. They can't make heads or tails of this. However, they promise that their investigation has been heads and shoulders above the rest. So I know. Only people that like true crime would think this is funny. Yeah, they're going to get ahead of this. Thank you, Scott. That's so terrible. Anyway, holy crap. So there you go. That's what's going on in true crime. And of course, so much more I'll let you guys take a look at. But that is Luminous this week. So there you go. And as always, thank you to everybody who contributes to Luminous. That helps me to be able to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they are still missing, Jessica. They have no idea. Apparently, I read another article a few days ago about this, that human heads on the like the dark web, or maybe the black market as we would call it back in the day, can sell for as much as $3,000 to $5,000. So apparently they're worth quite a lot. Who's paying that? I don't know. Why? Probably don't want to know. Yeah. So initially I thought they probably are junkies that thought they were getting opioids or some stupid thing, and ended up opening a box full of heads looking back at them. But I'm not sure now if that's actually true, if they knew exactly what they were stealing, because as it turns out, they have quite a bit of value. Yeah. All right. Let's change gears to something less horrifying. It's time for Fairy Tale Tarot. The full moon's not till Friday. It's the last full moon of winter, though, it's feeling pretty springy where a lot of us are, but this is the last one, and then we'll move into spring moons, summer moons. So, yep. Yeah. Yeah, they were donated for scientific research, yeah. And yeah, the driver was where he should not have been when they got stolen. Yeah. Which also kind of makes you wonder, was the driver, did he have something to do with this? Anyway, okay. Well, back to fairy moon. Back to full moon fairy tale tarot. All right. Full moon's not till Friday, but I just suspect that you're going to feel the full moon creeping in a little bit sooner this time. So I decided, let's not wait till next week. Let's do it this week. So the point of full moon fairy tale tarot is I pull a card, I've already done it, and we read the fairy tale that's associated. The full moon fairy tale tarot deck is by Lisa Hunt. You, I think, can still get it on Amazon. It's an older deck, but it's very fun. And we interpret what this means for us for the upcoming full moon cycle. So that's how this works. So the card, this is the Seven of Pentacles. And we have a stump with a golden goose inside. That probably gives away which fairy tale this is. We have a man in tattered clothing holding an axe, looking pretty perplexed. Of course, we have lots of viney, swirly things coming out of the trees. We never get all of the symbology, but that's a start. So that's the card. So let's read the fairy tale. This is the Golden Goose. It is from Germany. The key words are perseverance, reward, and pushing the boundaries. Oh, God. We're going to push some more boundaries? Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. Once upon a time, there were three brothers. The youngest brother, regarded as a simpleton, was named Dumbly. What? All right. Who did that? Despite Dumbly's good nature, his brothers treated him poorly and made fun of his perceived dim witted antics. One day, the eldest brother told his father that he would go to the forest to cut wood. His mother packed him wine and freshly baked cake and kissed him goodbye. Wine? To go cut wood? Mother, no. Before setting to task, he sat down for a drink. Duh. When along came a little gray haired man. Please, will you share some of your food and drink with me? The old man asked. I am terribly hungry and thirsty. Hey, JR. But the oldest brother, thinking himself so clever, refused. Certainly not. That would mean less for myself, he snapped. Who the hell are these kids? I blame the parents. Letting them abuse their brother like that and then act like this. When he began to fell a nearby tree, the axe slipped from his grip and he cut his arm so badly that he was forced to return home. The second son ventured out to the forest as well. His mother packed him wine and freshly baked bread with cheese and kissed him goodbye before, for Christ's sake, more of the wine? Come on, mother, what are you doing? Before setting to task, he sat down for a drink when along came the same little gray haired man. Do share your food and drink with me, he asked. I am terribly hungry and thirsty. I think you know where this is going. But the young man was unwilling to give up his snack to a mere stranger. When he started chopping, the axe slipped from his grip and cut off his leg. Hmm. Hmm. The third son begged his father to let him go cut a tree, but his father refused. If both of your clever brothers failed at the task, what makes you think that you will not suffer the same fate? I don't know. Maybe he's not an ass. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Dumley was so determined to go that at last his father gave in to his son's foolishness. His mother packed him sour beer and stale bread and shooed him off. Who are these people? When Dumley arrived in the middle of the woods, he sat down for a snack. Lo and behold, the little gray haired man returned. Do share some of your food and drink with me. I am terribly hungry and thirsty, he said. You can have what you like. But I'm afraid I only have sour beer and stale bread, offered Dumbly. The two sat together and ate what seemed like delicious food. When they finished, the old man stood up. Your kindness will bring you luck. Go over where the old tree stands and cut it down. In the roots, you will find something special. And with that, the old man rushed off. Dumbly did as the old man instructed and cut down the tree. There, amidst the tangle of roots, was a golden goose. Dumbly thought it such a lovely creature, and soon he had it tucked under his arm as he went to rest at a nearby inn. The innkeeper had three curious daughters who could not take their eyes off of the golden goose. When Dumbly left his room, the eldest daughter ran in with the intent of plucking a golden feather. But instead, she stuck fast to the goose and cried until her sister came and stuck on as well. Then the youngest came and joined in the jumble. Dumbly returned and took his goose. Not giving the girls any notice, he walked out of the inn and through the meadow and fields. As people saw them pass by, they tried to rescue the girls. What? So he's just carrying the goose with three girls attached to it and he didn't notice? Come on, Dumbly. Don't make what they said be true. Okay. Instead, they inadvertently attached themselves to the motley procession. They all came to a town where a Solon princess lived. Solon, of course, don't you know? Princesses. In an attempt to bring closure or bring cheer to his daughter, the king had posted a public decree. Whoever can make my daughter laugh shall have her hand in marriage. She's a teenager, bro. She'd laugh if her dad embarrassed himself, I promise. Uh, and so it happened. The teen princess was looking out her window when she saw Dumbly and his stumbling parade bumbling through the streets. For the first time in a long time, she laughed. We have found a prince, said the townspeople. Don't rush into anything. Dumbly was escorted into the castle to meet the king. Upon crossing the castle gates, the spell broke and the parade behind him dispersed back into the streets. But the king was not too keen about his daughter marrying a simpleton. So he gave Dumbly further instructions. Find a man who can drink my cellar of wine, commanded the king. Dumbly ran into the middle of the forest and found the old man crying. What's the matter? Asked Dumbly. I'm so thirsty that I don't know how I will quench my thirst, he cried. The old man was brought to the cellar and he gulped down all the wine. What the hell? The king was perplexed by the accomplishment and issued another challenge. You must find a man who can eat a mountain of bread. Again, Dumbly ran to the middle of the forest and found the old man crying. What's the matter? Dumbly asked. I am so hungry. I don't know if I will ever fill my appetite, cried the old man. Dumbly brought him to a mountain of bread, and the old man devoured it. The king would not give in easily, so he made one last condition. Bring me a ship that can sail over land and sea. Dumbly returned to the old man and was granted one last wish. And when the king saw Dumbly navigating a ship through the town, he knew he had been beaten. Not so dumbly now, is he? At last, Dumbly wed the princess. Dumbly was crowned a king and became a well-loved monarch who did many great things. The Golden Goose received its own royal chambers and was a much beloved fixture on castle grounds. The Golden Goose exudes sun-like powers. These are symbols and meaning. The tangled tree roots indicate a myriad of possibilities. The ferns are adjacent to Dumbly and reflect his humility. The mushrooms on the ancient stump are reminders of the magic at hand. Dumbly wears a red vest, indicative of potential. The axe is a powerful emblem of transformation. By imagining what it is you want, you can realize the power of your dreams. You must be clear about your goals and put your latent talents to practice. Don't allow perceived limitations stop you. Allow perseverance to guide you to success. Okay. So, it was a very weird story. I'll allow it, but a very weird story. So, how does this apply to us for the next 2 weeks? Well, to me, I feel like this is about getting active, really following through on things that you want to do, not getting complacent, not giving up before you're done, but really digging your heels in and fighting hard and working hard for the things that you want. I really, really like that. And I think that's really where we go the next 2 weeks, right? Manifest well, be smart about what you're doing, and be really intentional about what you're doing. Yeah. That doesn't mean you can't ever have a negative thought or blah, blah, blah. What it means is be clear and go to work. Yeah. Because you guys, we so rarely tap into our whole potential because we're so busy letting ourselves get talked out of what we want or what we feel inspired to do. No more, I say. Drink the whole cellar of wine, eat the whole mountain of bread, and accomplish your goals for God's sake. You like that one, Sid? I like that one too. Okay, at least there wasn't some really weird, misogynistic, well, there kind of was, but princess kidnapping incident or something. If we don't get to it, we will miss it. We'll run out of time. So I'm going to do our weekly bibliomancy from Kathleen Peterson's book. This is her channeling from the archangels and other light beings. So in bibliomancy, we just ask, what do we need to know this week? We flip to a page and we read that chapter. So thank you, Kathleen, for all of your hard work and that we get to benefit from this book. Blue Sing. This is 38 if you're following along, if you have the book. Today, I wish to discuss one way to success and financial abundance in whatever you do. I say to you, you must maintain a warrior attitude about your relationships in the business world and in your quest for abundance. By this, I mean you must persevere and not quit right before the windfall arrives. Okay, seriously? Crazy how this works out, right? Okay, we're going to keep going. Do not give up hope, but expect a positive outcome for everything. It also means being flexible while working toward your goal. The more flexible you are, the more you will have the ability to move in directions that you need to with short thought. Warriors expect positive outcomes when they engage. When you are prepared and flexible, along with maintaining a positive attitude, you will be in a better position to succeed. I will assist you as you work toward your goals. Be aware that my approach is subtle, and therefore, when you call on me, you must listen closely. But know that I will be here to assist. Another aspect of being a warrior is to work from a position of diplomacy and trust. You must be able to make pacts with yourself and others that you can keep. If you know what you can trust yourself to follow through with, what you have agreed to do, then you can trust that you will be true to yourself in all ways. Perseverance is the ability to be diplomatic and the ability to make agreements and keep them. Expecting positive outcomes and trust are all the things that will bring abundance and success in the world and in life. Know all that these skills are within you. Know that you are capable of all of these things and that with these attitudes and actions, you are on the right path. Whenever you are in a negotiation or in a big meeting, you may call on me to assist you. I will be there to help smooth the way so the outcome will be for the highest good of all concerned. Today, step forward with a positive outlook and a persevering attitude. I thank you for reading this and send you good fortune and many blessings. So there you go. I mean, I think the word of the week is persevere, right? And I don't feel like that has to be in a negative way or an uncomfortable way. I think we got to keep pushing forward. We got to keep accomplishing our goals. We've got to be relentless in what we want to do. I suspect that if we don't, it doesn't mean anything bad's going to happen, but I suspect that you might miss out on some of the good that could happen. So it's really my challenge to you guys that you do that. You push forward. You think about what it is you want. You send the email. You make the phone call. You schedule the meeting. You start the account. Whatever it is, but that you start working on it because there's a lot of good that can come. So that's what I have got. Don't forget next Monday, and I'll put out a postcard so that you remember, but should be the start of Scott and I's brand new show, Good News Only with Scott and Katie. And if you guys have been wanting to catch the Psychic Sisters, Christy and I are live streaming it on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain. And we're live streaming it from several places so that you guys can catch it if you want to. So you'll find it from this YouTube channel or this YouTube and this Facebook account, as well as the Facebook and YouTube's over at True Crime Paranormal. So any way you slice it, you should be able to start catching Psychic Sisters. We're trying to make it easier for you if that's something that you want to come to. I know a lot of you guys have missed that. And we're just still doing the same stuff we do over there, readings and laughing and teaching and having fun. So I'd love to have you Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain. So again, thank you so much for being here. This has been yet another production of 1-2 Radio. You have been listening to The Katie Weaver Show. Take care, guys, and have a great, great afternoon.